warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat petang. Bertemu kita kembali untuk meneruskan perkongsian program pada hari ketiga dalam program MYDIGITALMAKER Virtual Fair tahun 2021. Jadi jangan lupa kepada peserta di Zoom dan penonton di FB MYDIGITALMAKER Movement dan juga YouTube MGKK Negeri Perak untuk kita kongsikan dan sebarluaskan siaran kita pada petang ini. Jadi sebelum saya teruskan perkongsian program pada petang ini, izinkan saya perkenalkan diri terlebih dahulu. Saya Cikgu Farah Mardiah binti Mior Ahmad Marzuki dari SMK St. Benedict's Convent, Batu Gajah Perak akan bersama-sama dengan penonton pada petang ini mengacarakan program MYDIGITALMAKER Virtual Fair tahun 2021 untuk hari yang ketiga. Jadi untuk petang ni kita akan teruskan dengan dua slot, iaitu kita akan mulakan dengan tayangan video e-stream wave 2021 Winners Showcase dari Universiti Teknologi Petronas UTP, dan kita akan bersama-sama dalam konstruk 3 Game Development Endanger Wildlife yang akan disampaikan oleh alumni Digital Ninja. Jadi sebelum kita teruskan dengan slot pertama pada petang ini, sedikit makluman kepada semua penonton di FB MYDIGITALMAKER Movement dan YouTube MGKK Negeri Perak serta peserta di Zoom. Sempena program MYDIGITALMAKER Virtual Fair ini juga, pihak MDEC mengadakan satu pertandingan TikTok di mana memerlukan penyertaan untuk memuat naik video kreatif melalui aplikasi TikTok dengan menggunakan tanda pagar belajar digital, hashtag tanda pagar belajar digital, hashtag MYDIGITALMAKER dan hashtag MYDIGITALMAKER Virtual Fair 2021. Jadi bagi pertandingan ini kita ada 3 kategori, iaitu kategori pelajar khas untuk tingkatan 4 dan tingkatan 5. Kemudian kita ada kategori guru dan juga kategori keluarga. Jadi pemenang akan dinilai berdasarkan video yang dimuat naik bermula 7 Oktober sehingga 19 November dengan bilangan minima 5 video setiap bulan, dan video tersebut tidak boleh berulang serta perlu kreatif dan juga menunjukkan pembelajaran atau aktiviti digital berdasarkan fokus-fokus teknologi serta aktiviti-aktiviti yang ada sepanjang program MYDIGITALMAKER Virtual Fair ini. Dan kita juga ada pertandingan Digital Art Contest Zoo Taiping and Night Safari yang bertemakan Conserve and Preserve Our Local Endangered Wildlife. Jadi pertandingan ini terdiri dari beberapa kategori, iaitu lower primary, higher primary, lower secondary dan higher secondary. Jadi jangan lepaskan peluang untuk menyertai pertandingan yang disediakan. Jadi untuk Digital Art Contest ini, tarikh akhirnya ialah pada hari ini. Jadi boleh hantar sebelum pukul 12:30 malam ini. Jadi kita teruskan dengan program kita pada petang ini. Jom sama-sama kita tonton video e-stream wave 2021 winner showcase dari Universiti Teknologi Petronas UTP. Untuk itu, jom sama-sama kita saksikan. Dipersilakan.
sejahtera. Kami daripada kumpulan 12 iaitu Tabura STEM dari SMK Taman Bungaraya 1. Kumpulan ini di bawah bimbingan Puan Khalidah binti Ramli.
Pandemik COVID-19 yang melanda Malaysia telah memberi kesan yang besar kepada segenap lapisan masyarakat. Peningkatan kes COVID-19 di seluruh negara, terutamanya daripada sektor perkilangan, menyebabkan penyebaran virus COVID-19 semakin sukar dibendung. Melihat kepada situasi ini, kumpulan Tabura STEM mencari suatu solusi bagi menangani peningkatan kes COVID-19 yang berpunca daripada sektor industri.
Di antara punca yang menyebabkan wabak coronavirus semakin menular di kluster tempat kerja ialah kawasan tempat kerja yang sempit. Ini menyebabkan pekerja terpaksa bersesak di kawasan yang tertutup. Yang kedua, tidak mengamalkan penjarakan fizikal di tempat kerja, terutamanya ketika waktu rehat dan berbual bersama rakan sekerja.
Bagi mengatasi masalah penjarakan fizikal di tempat kerja, kumpulan kami telah menghasilkan sebuah social distancing sensor yang dapat mengesan jarak dan memberikan amaran sekiranya jarak di antara pekerja kurang daripada 1 meter.
Memperkenalkan hasil inovasi kami iaitu social distancing sensor.
Social distancing sensor ini dihasilkan bagi menangani masalah COVID-19 yang melanda di negara kita. Industri perkilangan yang merupakan penyumbang terbesar bagi peningkatan kes. Oleh itu, pemakaian social distancing sensor ini difokuskan kepada para pekerja industri perkilangan.
Selain itu, sensor ini dapat mengesan dan mengetahui serta menghitung seberapa ramai orang yang datang menghampiri seseorang pekerja dengan ukuran jarak kurang daripada 1 meter melalui aplikasi ThinkSpeak Viewer dari masa ke semasa. Aplikasi ThinkSpeak Viewer ini dapat digunakan dan dikawal di komputer riba dan telefon pintar. Oleh itu, seseorang pekerja dapat memantau dengan lebih mudah pergerakannya di mana-mana sahaja.
Berakhir sudah video pembentangan kami. Jutaan terima kasih diucapkan kepada semua pihak yang terlibat bagi menjayakan projek ini sama ada secara langsung maupun secara tidak langsung. Terutamanya kepada pihak MyFloLab dan Stream IoT serta Universiti Teknologi Petronas. #Stay safe.
#Take care of yourself.
#Stay at home.
I am Davida Rajaratna.
I am Vidyasri Ramesh.
We are 30 years old. We are Tech Phantom 2 from SMK Raja Mahadi.
Our mentor is Mr. Logan Nathan Alagai.
Is a common bird to the public as they are always seen tearing opening trash bags, destroying food and making a lot of noise. Leave messy droppings that can spread disease. Throw garbage around and cause property damage to buildings and landscapings. In Klang municipality, there was an 7,000 bird shoot from 2010 to 2014. In Kuala Lumpur City Hall, Enforcement Department shoot between 4,400 and 5,400 crows in 15 to 18 operations annually.
There are many ways to avoid crows from coming. From our research, we have identified that loud predator sound can keep crows away from coming. Hence, we have identified to build our crow chaser using Arduino distance sensor. This is how we develop our project and make it work.
We have used flow logistics to develop the coding to set up the Arduino distance sensor, which can sense the image of the crow at the distance within 50 cm from the sensor. At the same time, coding was developed to link the eagle sound with the distance sensor. Once the board has been activated, it was placed in the box where the Bluetooth speaker is placed as well. The Arduino board works with power bank and is portable. We can place it outside of the house, garden and many more places.
We have done some tests run using our crow chaser around our house, and this is the average data collected where the number of crows decreases when we frequently use the crow chaser. Day 1, the number of crows are 9. Day 2, the number of crows are 6. Day 3, the number of crows are 3.
The effects of pest activities can cause problems to human health, stain the residential areas and vehicles, and cause damage to breeding structures. This will certainly cause problems. If not handled with freshness, it may become more serious problem. Even though the Malaysian government has came up with crow hunting operation, but it is not welcomed by many netizens, where they cried for and expressed their grievances towards the unsightly and cold-hearted operation. With our project, we can easily reduce the problem that has been stated without killing the crows. Our crow chaser is definitely the best solution as it's easy to use, it's a portable device, so we can use it anytime, anywhere we want, and most importantly, everyone can afford it.
Let's get rid of the crow with our crow chaser. Thank you.
Greetings everyone, I am Audrey Tan from SJKC Funu 2, Johor Bahru. Let me introduce one of my favourite books to you, Flowers for Algernon. This book by an American writer, Daniel Keyes, falls under the science fiction genre, but it's a lot more than just an imagination of the future. This book was so ahead of its time that it won the Hugo Award for the best story in 1960. The story is narrated by Charlie Gordon, a 32-year-old mentally challenged man who is the first human to undergo a surgery that will increase his mental capabilities. This very same surgery had already been performed successfully on a mouse called Algernon. The surgery gives Charlie a genius-level intellect, but it does not make him emotionally intelligent. He still has difficulty in making friends and connecting with people. In my opinion, Charlie has two characters in this story, one before and one after the surgery. The Charlie before the surgery just wants to please everyone around him and be smart. The Charlie after the surgery is much more complicated. His newfound intellect changes his perspective of the world. The more he reflects on his life, the more unhappy he becomes with the way he is treated and how tainted the world is. Charlie after the operation says, and I quote, "I don't know what's worse, to not know what you are and be happy, or to become what you've always wanted to be and to feel lonely." This shows that the story is more than just a science fiction. It's almost poetic and thought-provoking. It shows the importance of understanding and sharing our feelings with one another. There's a special word for that: empathy. However, my favorite passage of the book is on page 249. It states, Intelligence is one of the greatest human gifts, but all too often a search for knowledge drives out the search for love. Well, I could easily give this book a 5-star rating. With what's happening around the world right now, this book will help you find perspective and may even help you feel content with being a human. Thank you for listening. Once again, I am Audrey Tan.
Good day, honorable judges, teachers, and fellow friends. My name is Clarice Soyaning. I'm from Class 5S and I'm studying at SJKC Bandar Seri Botani, Ipoh, Perak. I would like to share this 147-page book titled Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl and illustrated by Quentin Blake. This book is published by the Penguin Group in 2014. This is a classic children's book about 5 kids who want a chance to tour Mr. Willy Wonka's mysterious candy-making operation. The vivid story of each kid's adventures will keep you entertained and excited throughout the whole book. The protagonist, Charlie Bucket, lived a life of poverty with his bedridden grandparents and his parents who cannot earn enough money to buy them food. However, Charlie is rich in love. The love between him and his family makes their daily struggles more bearable. In the story, various forms of bad behavior are demonstrated and are punished. They are also accompanied by rhymes that will make you giggle. The moral of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is that children who are honest and well-behaved will be rewarded in the end. Let me tell you about my favorite part of the book. Everybody in the Bucket residence was starving. Charlie got so thin he looked like a skeleton. Then one day, coming home from school, he spotted 50 pence in the snow. He picked it up and rushed to the store. He bought a Wonka's Little Scrumptious Fudge Mellow Delight. He wolfed the chocolate down. Because the last bar was so yummy, Charlie bought another. He opened up the wrapper and there came a flash of gold. Charlie Bucket had found the last golden ticket. But after he went home and told everybody about it, Grandpa Joe got so happy that he jumped out of bed and started doing a victory dance. Greetings to you, the lucky finder. The day you'll visit is the first day of February. You must come to my factory at 10 o'clock sharp in the morning and you're allowed to bring 1 or 2 members of your family. The very next day was the 1st of February. Mr. Wonka was waiting to welcome his lucky visitors. This was where the adventures really began. Roald Dahl is truly the world's #1 storyteller. He wrote of the ills that have long infected our society. Greed, brattiness, selfishness, and the TV that kills the imagination of little kids. Last but not least, I give this book a 5-star rating. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day everyone. My name is Nur Iman Christina binti Muhammad Mustafa. I'm from SK Batu Gajah. Aladdin is the title. So, of course the book is about Tada! Aladdin! It is an interesting little fairy tale of all time. This book was published in 2019 by Autumn Publishing. This 64 pages classic story-time collection featuring a young man named Aladdin, a beautiful princess named Jasmine, an evil sorcerer named Jafar, and man compete with a magical genie. I'm pretty sure boys and girls will both like it. It's an easy chapter book with pictures on every page. I love the illustrations. I think age 8 to 12 would like this, but younger kids would like the story being read to them. My favorite part of this book was when Aladdin frees the genie from the magic lamp and he finds his wishes granted. His first wish was to be a prince. It is because he wanted to be with Princess Jasmine. The genie used Aladdin's second wish to rescue him after the evil sorcerer threw him into the sea with adventurous book.
I don't want to be a caterpillar. My mission is to be a bookworm. That's all for today. Bye!
Major luck.
Hello, I'm Ian Lee. Today, I'll be reviewing this book, Angel of Storms by Trudy Calvert. It was published in 2015 by Orbit. This is the second book in the Millennium Rule trilogy. It's a fantasy fiction and I absolutely enjoyed reading it, although it's a heavy book with 568 pages. The story follows two main characters, Riel and Tyan, who exist in different worlds. Riel lives in a world where the use of magic is forbidden to anyone but priests. She has been shunned by her community for using magic. Riel then meets the angel Walhan, who makes her an extraordinary offer. But what does he want in return? In contrast, Tyan's world relies on magic for living. A teacher of magic, he's desperately trying to free Vela, a woman whose soul is trapped in a book. When Ray, ruler of all the worlds, outlaws the teaching of magic, Tyan makes a deal with him. Are Walhan and Ray the same person? And if so, what are his plans? The concept for this book is so impressive. Multiple worlds with different views on magic, all created living. I love how the author integrates the idea that Riel's angel and Tyan's Rain are in fact the same person. Rain remains an elusive and enigmatic character throughout. You're never sure if you can trust him. Is he a villain using immoral tactics, or an immortal charged with an impossible murder? All in all, this is a roller coaster of a book doused with magic that will leave you breathless. It tests both protagonists to their limits and ends on a note that will leave you craving for the next book. I give this book a 9 out of 10 for its superb storytelling and amazing plot lines. I would definitely recommend it to all fans of fantasy and science fiction. Finally, I will leave you with this passage from the book as a teaser. She knew too little of either to know who deserved that life more. But the one thing she was certain of, which her own actions had taught her, was that killing someone should not be done lightly or selfishly. Go read the book to find out more. Thanks for watching, and if you like this book, please give it a thumbs up. Bye!
Most of us think the goal and peaceful life is to be happy. These ideas keep pushing us forward, searching for things we don't have. If you want to build a meaningful life and quit the constitutes of happiness, then this book is definitely for you. This book was published in 2017 by Broadway Books, entitled The Power of Meaning. Emily Esfahani Smith, author of this book, explains that it's actually the search for meaning that will bring fulfillment. We have a lot to be happy about. It's not happiness that makes life worth living, it's meaning. There is so much to this book that it's hard to boil it down in a review. People have different views on what makes a meaningful life. Some people believe that you must serve others to live a meaningful life, while others think that belonging to something greater than yourself is the way to go. Belonging, purpose, storytelling, and transcendence are the 4 pillars of meaning that I have learned from this book, and they are accessible to everyone, regardless of religious beliefs, cultural backgrounds, or economic status. Belonging meant being in relations where we are valued for who we are intrinsically and where we value others as well. For example, creating a bond with family and friends. Moving on to the next pillar is purpose. Purpose is less about what we want than about what we give. The key to purpose is using our strength to serve others. That's how we contribute and feel needed. Purpose gives us something to live for, some why that drives us forward. Furthermore, the third pillar of life is transcendence. Transcendence states are those rare moments when we are lifted above the hustle of daily life. Our sense of self fades away and we feel connected to a higher reality. These transcendent experiences can change us. Now moving on to the last pillar, storytelling. Creating a narrative from the events of our life brings clarity. It helps us understand ourselves more. But we don't always realize that we're the authors of our stories. Our life isn't just a list of events, and story doesn't change overnight. It could take years and struggles, but embracing those painful memories can lead to new insights and wisdom that sustains us. From reading this book, I've realized that the pillars were part of the architecture, and the presence of these pillars within our family and institutions help us live richer, live more deeply, and more satisfying lives. Each of us need to find the meaning of life on our own, but remember, meaningful life is an ongoing process. As each day goes by, so do the happiness. We're constantly creating our lives and story too. I highly recommend this book to everyone who wants to expand how they view the world and the people with whom they share it with. That's all from me, Nur Idina, representing SMK Convent Ipoh.
Hey guys,
we are Dream 12 from SMK Tun Mutahe.
Our board game name is Go Green City.
This board game is about competing for a CEO of a hexaventure company.
The future lifestyle of this board game is to reduce carbon emission in our daily life.
The players need to manage economy and control the carbon emission of the city.
We hope that players will learn how to manage money and put emphasis on environmental issues after playing this game.
First, players need to draw a character card. Next, the bank gives each player $3,000, except Chairman's son, Ron. After that, players can start to manage their territory, non-limit to the number of moves. Next, player roll the dice and one of the biggest numbers is starting to move and other players follow the clockwise.
First, player receive $1,000 per round. After that, players can make a move on their turn.
They can buy a land like trees or industry, answer a question to burn one of the player's land, repair the land that has been burned, and activate their skill.
Player will pay the cost of the land to the bank. Players can place the industry anyway but need to follow the structure that had given. Players receive profit according to different industries in every round. Player need to solve a question in 1 minute to burn one of the player's land. Players whose land will be burnt can decide which land to burn, but they can only choose one piece of land in an industry, not the vacant land. The burnt land will be marked with blue lands. Players can answer a question in 1 minute to repair the land. If player answer wrongly, players can pay $1,000 to repair the land. The which player must roll a dice to determine if he or she can burn another player's land. When the players did not have any money, they still can activate their skill or power.
The game must be stopped after 2 hours.
If one of the player's land is filled up before the time is up, he can still get 1,000 from the bank, but he must add 10,000 kilograms of carbon emission every round.
When any piece of an industry is burned, players cannot count the industry into the total value of the industry, but the carbon emissions still have to be calculated and there will be no profit.
The player with the most total amount is the winner.
Do you know that soap has been around for more than 2,300 years? We use soap every day in our lives for washing, bathing, and all manners of cleaning. But have you ever thought about how soaps are made? Hello, I'm Ian Lee, and together with Hosen, hello, and Hin Huang, hello, we are going to tell you the story behind the science of soap synthesis. Soap is a chemical compound of a salt of a fatty acid. At the heart of soap synthesis is a chemical reaction consisting of alkaline hydrolysis of fat, called saponification. The simplest saponification reaction can be written as fat plus alkali to produce soap and glycerol. Saponification literally means turning into soap. And this is the saponification chemical equation, where triglyceride added with an alkali, which is sodium hydroxide here, will give a molecule of glycerol and soap. Triglyceride is the scientific name for fat, made of triesters of glycerol and 3 fatty acids. The ester bond triglyceride can be hydrolyzed in the presence of an alkali to glycerol and fatty acid components. The fatty acids produced are deprotonated by the hydroxide ions to become carboxylate salts, which are the soap. All different types of fats and oils can be used to make soap. Anything from animal fats to vegetable oils to exotic tropical plant oils. But the alkali used to make soap are just two, either sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is used in the saponification process. A hard soap is produced, which is solid and less soluble. When potassium hydroxide is used, a soft soap is made, which is liquefied and dissolves faster. The soap molecule consists of two parts: the non-polar, hydrophobic, long hydrocarbon tail, which is water-hating, and the negatively charged, polar, hydrophilic carboxylic head, which is water-loving. Soap acts by emulsifying fats and oils. The polar hydrophilic head dissolves in water, whereas the non-polar hydrophobic tail dissolves in oil or grease, forming micelles around oil droplets. These micelles become suspended in water and are easily washed away. The disadvantage of soap is that it forms insoluble salts with magnesium and calcium ions present in hard water, producing a precipitate called soap scum. In acidic water, soap scum is also formed when soap salts are converted into free fatty acids, which are less soluble. Because of this, soaps are ineffective in acidic water and hard water. This is where synthetic soap, called detergents, come into the picture, which are minimally affected by metal salts or acids. There are 3 different types of detergents, according to the electrical charge they carry in their polar heads: anionic, cationic, and non-ionic. Detergents are similar to soaps in that they all have a polar head group, which is hydrophilic, and a long non-polar tail group, which is hydrophobic, allowing them to function effectively as a surfactant. But they are not prepared from natural fats or oils, and they are different in their structure, properties, and applications as cleaning agent. And now, the story continues with Horsen.
Soap and detergents are in high demand because of their diverse cleansing abilities. For generations, their use have increased until their manufacture became an industry essential to the comfort and health of civilized mankind. Today, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and the emergence of other lethal infections worldwide are creating a huge demand for disinfecting products to maintain hygiene and prevent the spread of infection, which is a major factor fueling market growth in the soap and detergent industry. What is the projected economic value of the soap and detergent industry? Fortune Business Insights says that the global market size was $34.09 billion in 2019 and is projected to reach $55.29 billion by 2027. Population growth especially in households with children, drives demand in the consumer sector, while growth in economy drives demand in the commercial sector. Factors such as low-cost manufacturing processes, easy availability of raw materials, and fewer regulations on production have helped with large-scale productions of soap and detergents. Today, many large soap companies use a continuous process, also known as the hydrolyzer process, to produce soap in mass amounts at a faster rate. The fat is split into fatty acids and glycerin in a tall column known as the hydrolyzer and purified before being saponified with an alkali. This cuts down on the process of removal of impurities and glycerin in the soap, speeding up production and driving up.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly from SMK Developer. Today, my friends and I are going to share you about the knowledge that you must know about soup. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, I'm Xingyi from 5STEM1. Saponification is a process by which triglycerides are reacted with sodium or potassium hydroxide lime to produce glycerol and fatty acid salt called soup. Triglycerides are most often animal fats or vegetable oils. When sodium hydroxide is used, a hard soap is produced. Using potassium hydroxide results in a soft soap. While the one-step triglyceride reaction with lime is most frequently used, there is also a two-step saponification reaction. In the two-step reaction, steam hydrolysis of the triglyceride yields carboxylic acid rather than its salt and glycerol. In the second step of the process, alkali neutralizes the fatty acid to produce soup. The two-step process is slower, but the advantage of the process is that it allows for purification of the fatty acids and thus produce a higher quality soup.
Hello everyone, I'm Jing Lishu from 5STEM1. The soap manufacturing process can be separated into two main groups, the kettle process and the continuous process. The kettle process produces soup in one batch at a time, while the continuous process makes soup continuously. Most big soup manufacturers use the continuous soup manufacturing process because it produces a more consistent product. The continuous process also creates soup faster, producing soup in about 6 hours compared with the 4 to 11 days the kettle soup making process takes. In the continuous soap manufacturing process, molten fat is sent into container where hot, high-pressure water is sprayed into it. This separates the fat into component parts. The fatty acid are then purified and sent into another container, where the alkaline substance is added. Once the soap is made, some manufacturer may whip it into incorporate air. The entire mixture is then poured into mold and allowed to cool, or it cooled in large slabs that can be cut later. The first step of the kettle soap manufacturing process is to boil the fat and the alkaline substance together. Salt is then added to allow the soap to separate from glycerin, which sinks to the bottom of the container and is removed. After this, the soap is pitched, water is added and the liquid is boiled. This causes the soap, called neat soap, to rise to the top and the water and other substances, collectively called nightly, to settle at the bottom. The soap is removed and like soap made using the continuous method. Is cooled in mold is allowed to cool as a large slab to be cut later. Soap has its economical value. Soap is easy to produce, readily soluble, does not spoil, and transport easily. Its soap can supplement household income. Furthermore, soap made with mixed tree oil is more affordable than the raw oil itself. Through the project, it was found that women are particularly interested in new economic activities which produce direct financial benefit for them and their families. However, the additional works must result in immediate, tangible benefit to ensure continued adoption. A recent study on the environmental impacts of soup and their associated packaging found that bar soup have a lower environmental impact than liquid soup in many important categories, including carbon footprint, ozone depletion potential, and eutrophication potential. This is due largely to the higher energy requirements of producing the raw materials and packaging for the liquid soup. Lesson here for the environmentally conscious shopper is that product selection is really a black and white issue. Deciding which product to buy often comes down to decide which environmental impacts one personally is most interested in alleviating. Most of the dust on our skin is removed thanks to the soap that we use for the sole purpose of cleaning it, but we may be causing more harmful to our environment in the process. Soap made of chemicals and resulting runoff from our bath, which often consists of soapy water, dust particles, grease, and various chemicals, is released directly to the local environment. It may not seem like much, but this is bound to affect the environment to an extent. Besides, soap will also cause some negative health effects to humans. One of the negative health effects of soap is allergic reactions. These days, soap are more chemicals than anything natural, and naturally some of them are bound to cause our allergy to flare up. One early indication that we have an issue with soap in question is when our skin breaks into a rash and even develops hives. That's an indication that we are allergic to that particular soap and need to consult a doctor to help mitigate the allergic reaction. Soap may also cause dry skin. As we know, soap often comes with an increased pH, which, while being effective in removing the bacteria from our skin, can cause it to dry out. Dry skin condition can cause our skin to become more easily brushed. That's why we need to go for a soap come with some amount of moisturizer, or we can always apply a moisturizer after we finish taking our bath. Let us perform an experiment by using soap. The materials used in these experiments are 2 containers, 1 bar soap, distilled water, and tap water. First, fill the containers 1/3 full with tap water and distilled water respectively. Then, put the bar soap in the distilled water and rub with hand vigorously for a few seconds. After a few seconds, put the soap in the tap water and rub it too. And we can observe the water. The water with more lather is soft water, while the water appears cloudy and have scalp is hard water. When soap is added to hard water, the calcium and magnesium ion present in hard water react with soap. The sodium salts present in soaps are converted to their corresponding calcium and magnesium salts, which are precipitated as scum. The insoluble scum sticks on the clothes, and so the cleaning capacity of soap is reduced. That's all. Thank you for watching our video. Hope you like this video and have a nice day.
Hi! Have you forgotten about a famous silent treat? Introducing global warming. Global warming, a gradual increase in the overall temperature of the Earth's atmosphere that have been observed since pre-industrial between 1815 and 1990. Global warming generally attributed to the greenhouse effect caused by increased levels of carbon dioxide, CFCs, and other pollutants due to human activities.
History of global warming. Sven Arrhenius was a Swedish scientist that was who claimed in 1896 that fossil fuel combustion may eventually result in enhanced global warming. He proposed the relation between atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration and temperature. He found the average surface temperature of the Earth is about 50 degrees Celsius. Because of infrared absorption capacity of water vapor and carbon dioxide. This is called the natural greenhouse effect.
The global warming is a deadly threat. The main reason of this problem comes from the greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gas is a sort of carbon carbon dioxide or methane gas that retain heat and not reflect back to atmosphere. The increase of carbon dioxide to atmosphere from many sources such as the car industry, fossil fuel, coal, oil, natural gas and hydrocarbon compound. Even though carbon dioxide is only 10 to 40% from the total post-combustion outlet into atmosphere, it still contributes to underside global warming. With that, the problem many researchers become aware of is carbon dioxide emission problem. Carbon dioxide that produced in natural gas manufacture not only cause the global warming or climate change condition, but it still causes the corrosion problem inside pipeline and equipment of the process plant and reduce the heating value of the gas. Therefore, carbon dioxide to be removed to eliminate or reduce the disadvantages in daily operation.
Did you know the effect of global warming? There will be more frequent and brutal weather. Temperature will get worse and lead to many horrible disasters, such as heat waves that lead to increasing sea level and warming ocean. And then comes flood, or maybe even a tsunami that directly destroy our residents and lead to many deaths. Don't forget the wildlife. They are also affected and will become extinct if all this happen. There is also other horrible effects such as drought, storm, outbreak, and pollution. But in the end, all effects were harmful and threatening to all living things, especially ourselves, human beings.
How can we stop global warming? There's a lot of ways to stop global warming. First, we can start by practice to recycle. We can recycle our waste such as plastic bottles and aluminium cans. Recycle is an eco-friendly way to manage our waste. Second, we need to save energy. We need to save electricity by unplug unused electronic device and use electric saving product. Last but not least, we should drive in less. Instead, we should use public transportation or do a carpool. This way, we can reduce greenhouse emission.
Thank you.
One of the ways to save money is by track your spending. We can fall into the trap of thinking spending on big things is what gets us into trouble, when often it is the little things that end up costing us more. That's why it is important to keep track of your day-to-day spending, so you don't live beyond your means. Your bank statement will tell you how much money is going into your bank account and how much is going out. You can then compare it with your budgets to see whether you are sticking to it or not. You can then identify areas where you can save. Next is savings account. By restricting access to your money, savings accounts can give you a higher interest rate than a basic transaction account. Savings accounts are somewhere you can put some or all of your discretionary income, the amount left over after paying for personal necessities and tax, and any windfalls. You can ward off the temptation to spend this discretionary money by setting up automatic scheduled transfers from your main account to your savings account. Next is smooth your bills. Bill smoothing is a payment system offered by utility providers, whereby you pay them fortnightly or monthly, instead of having to pay the whole bill in one go. It protects people on tight budget from bill shock and having to go into debt and potentially pay interest. This is avoid a poverty mentality. These people tend to have self-limiting beliefs and to make decisions based on fear of loss or failure. In contrast, people with a prosperity or abundance mentality base their decisions on what the possible benefits are. Next is to use saving planning. Use saving goals planner to work out how much you need to regularly set aside to reach your savings target, and what discretionary spending you could cut in the process. And last but not least is to control your impulse. Ironically, it's the willpower of pure shoppers that tends to get deleted the most. This is a result of the fact their face repeated. difficult financial decisions. If you see something you want, wait at least a day before you buy it. 30 days if it's a non-necessary big purchase. You might find the urge passes. Another way of short-circuiting your impulse to buy is to work out how many hours of work the purchase price represents. Chances are you will think the item is not worth it. Boleh saya bantu?
Sebenarnya, ibu bapa saya akan bercerai tidak lama lagi dan saya beserta adik akan mengikut ibu saya hidup. Disebabkan itu, saya amat risau terhadap perbelanjaan saya yang akan melanjutkan pelajaran ke universiti pada tahun depan kerana saya tahu jika hanya bergantung pada pendapatan ibu saya, hal ini sememangnya tidak cukup.
Oh, begitu. Saya mak faham keadaan kamu. Jangan terlalu bimbang terhadap masalah kewangan ini. Kamu masih ada masa untuk memperbaiki kehidupan dalam tempoh masa ini sebelum ibu bapa kamu bercerai. Saya akan berkongsi pengalaman saya dalam pengurusan kewangan secara efektif kepada kamu. Terima kasih, Amy. Baiklah, hal ini sebenarnya berlaku 3 bulan yang lalu. Pada masa itu, bagaimanakah cara untuk menguruskan kewangan secara efektif? Saya harus berdikari dari sekarang. Saya tidak patut berbelanja tanpa perancangan yang baik. Saya boleh menggunakan belanjawan setiap bulan berpandukan 50-30-20 rules yang kerap digunakan oleh negara barat.
Jap, Amy, apa itu 50, 30 and 20 rules itu?
Itu satu konsep yang diperkenalkan oleh Elizabeth Warren dan anaknya Amelia Warren. Konsep ini membantu seseorang untuk mengurus belanjawan secara sistematik menerusi pembahagian wang tersebut kepada 3 bahagian.
Oh, begitu. Bagaimanakah konsep ini berfungsi pula?
Secara ringkasnya, konsep ini membahagikan belanjawan kami kepada 3 bahagian mengikut tahap kepentingannya. Misalnya, 50% merujuk kepada keperluan seharian yang mesti kami berbelanja, seperti makanan, minuman, pengangkutan, penginapan dan insurans. Malahan 30% merujuk kepada kehendak kami iaitu sesuatu yang tidak semestinya dimiliki tetapi hanya untuk meningkatkan taraf kehidupan, seperti membeli bola, gift pusat kompleks dan hobi. Akhirnya 20% pula ialah wang yang akan disimpan di dalam bank atau untuk menjelaskan hutang. Namun begitu, untuk kami masih tidak perlu lagi menjelaskan apa-apa hutang. Oleh itu, wang tersebut boleh digunakan sama ada disimpan di dalam bank atau dilabur untuk meningkatkan keuntungan. Terima kasih Amy kerana sanggup memperkenalkan konsep tersebut kepada saya. Saya akan cuba mengaplikasikan konsep ini dalam kehidupan. Sama-sama.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I am Nur Elisa Rudi and I am a Form 4 student and currently studying at Malaysia Art School of Johor. For today, I'm going to share about my money plans and some other things that might be useful. So let's get started. As a teenager, I think money is something that is so hard to come by, but more importantly, so hard to hold on. So I plan to manage my money wisely. However, I need to find out ways to generate money, especially during this pandemic. As a teenager, I only got money when I go to school compared to when I am at home. So, to earn money, you could do jobs or provide services. I prefer to provide services to both of my parents. By doing this, I could get at least $10 for each job I do. Besides, I also managed to get more than $50 a week. After I earn money, I split my money for spending and saving. So, for spending, I only spend on my needs, not my wants. So, you might be confused which one is your needs and wants. Here's some tips for you. You should ask yourself whether it is something that you can't live without or is it just the other way. Since we are all teenagers, I think we don't really require expenses for our necessity. So I decided to make half of my money for spending, half of it for saving. So this is why I call it as 50-50 plans. 50% for your saving and 50% for your spending. How balanced is that? Here's another tips for you. You should start saving as best as you can. My mom told me when it comes to saving, every coin did count, and you should not buy something that is a craze of money. I mean, if you take a look from a different point of view, you might buy something just because everybody likes it, don't you? So my advice is, there is always something new coming out that everybody goes crazy for, such as new clothes, new bags, even new cell phones. But that's just people. So here comes the challenges. You need to refrain yourself from everything that not needed. It's hard to refrain yourself since we are all exposed to the social medias. But you should learn to control yourself and running out this plan. I hope this 50-50 plan will help you a lot in managing your money. And I also hope you have a nice day. Bye!
Okay, itu dia tadi video eStreamWave 2021 winner showcase daripada Universiti Teknologi Petronas UTP. Kalau kita tengok tadi, kita ada IoT, Internet of Things, competition, Maths Genius competition, Reading Duo competition, Camp E-Pitching competition, Knowledge Hunt competition dan Money Matters competition. Jadi tahniah kepada semua yang menyertai. Jadi kita akan teruskan program kita. Sebelum kita teruskan, kepada semua penonton di Facebook My Digital Maker Movement dan YouTube MGKK Perak boleh melihat siaran ulangan di YouTube MGKK Perak. Kepada penonton juga boleh mengisi link kehadiran untuk mendapatkan sijil penyertaan. Okey, kita akan teruskan ke Zoom Room nombor 7. slot kita pada petang ini. Jadi kepada semua peserta di Zoom Room nombor 7, penonton di FB MYDIGITALMAKER Movement dan YouTube MGKK Negeri Perak, kita akan teruskan dengan slot terakhir untuk hari ketiga dalam program MYDIGITALMAKER Virtual Fair tahun 2021. Jadi untuk tidak melengahkan masa lagi, kita akan teruskan dengan slot terakhir, iaitu Build Your Own Game, Construct 3 Game Development and Endanger Wildlife daripada Digital Ninja Alumni yang akan disampaikan oleh saudara Darnish Rasen Sakuna Rasen. Jadi untuk tidak melengahkan masa lagi, majlis dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan. Dipersilakan.
Thank you MC, thank you so much for having me. Izinkan saya untuk berbahasa dalam bahasa Inggeris. So, okay. First of all, my name is Darnish Rasen, Sakuna Rasen, and I'm currently pursuing my education in University Malaya. I'm doing my bachelor's in artificial intelligence. So that's more or less about me. I'm 20 years old. Yeah. So for the first thing, I'll just like you guys know that thank you for joining our session today, whether you're being on the YouTube live or the Facebook live, or to those who are in this Zoom meeting right now. Thank you for joining the session today. And I'll just introduce you guys to where I am from, the Digital Ninja Alumni. So Digital Ninja Alumni is an initiative that was an alumnus created by us Digital Ninjas, who was an initiative of MYDIGITALMAKER's movement. So we are kind of linked to MYDIGITALMAKER itself. So MYDIGITALMAKER provided lots of skill development, talent development for us, and now we are coming back together so we could provide all those skills that we learned, so we could teach the others who wasn't lucky enough to get the skills. That's our purpose. That's what we are trying to do. So about Digital Ninja, it might sound as an oversimplification, but I'm trying to simplify it as easy as possible. Digital Ninja is a program by MDEX, MYDIGITALMAKER movement. It has a few phases throughout the entire movement, the entire initiative. Being the phase 1, we have the acceleration bootcamp and Digital Ninja battle. So in this acceleration bootcamp, us Digital Ninjas, we are taught digital skills like app development, web development, game development, like what we're doing today, and so many other skills like Arduino, 3D printing. It's all tech-related fun stuff that you can learn through this initiative. So if you guys are interested to think of registering, it's very useful. And after you finish your SPM, we have phase 2, where we have leadership camps, where we go and enhance our leadership skills, our soft skills, things like that. Like if you were to go to an interview, how would you appropriately dress yourself? How would you appropriately act? Be yourself, but you have to do things appropriately. So they teach all this kind of, it may sound simple, but it helps out in the long run. It really helped me out, and I would really like you guys to join Digital Ninja Initiative by MYDIGITALMAKER so that you can also be better. So yeah. Then the third phase of our initiative is being career immersion, where after we were trained to make resumes and attend interviews and stuff, and then we are now being put into actual jobs. We have to work, not for long, few weeks, but what you do in the work is exactly what you'll be doing like once you graduate and stuff. So it's an early opportunity for you guys to learn, get some experience on how things actually work on the outside world. So I got those experience when I was just 18 years old. I could go out, work, all the work stuff. Like imagine your parents coming back from work, they'll be like, oh, so stressed out today. You get to experience that, and it kind of makes you appreciate what your parents are doing as well. Yep. So that being the Digital Ninja program. That if you guys are interested, do feel free to check it out on MYDIGITALMAKER's website. It's there, and you guys could support it. Follow us on Instagram and stuff. Do support it. It's very good. So for the next part, we have 5 volunteers here today. We have Go Ken Hao, we have Wong Wei, Vinishwaran, Arisha, Afini, and myself, Danish Rasan. So if you guys have any questions at all, if you are in Facebook Live or in YouTube Live, in the Zoom meeting right now, you can ask any questions anytime. We will help you out. Okay. So coming back to what we are doing here today, we'll be making our own game. It won't be like the games that we play, like Mobile Legend or PUBG. Those are like mobile-based games, and then we have PC games like Call of Duty Warzone or stuff like that. It won't be as good as that, but it will give you an early experience if you were interested in making games. It's different from being a gamer, but you being able to develop your own game, putting what you feel into a game it's probably a new hobby among current teenagers. Yeah. So I'd like to teach something, and I hope you guys can learn something and probably be useful in your future. So yes, that's what we're trying to do here today. So we'll be using the platform called Construct Tree because as far as we tried, it's easy to use. You don't have to know any programming languages. You don't have to know complicated stuff. It's very easy to probably just type in some things, drag and drop. I'll show you guys later on. Yeah. So if you were to build a game, Construct Tree is our recommendation. Okay. Before we go into that part, each game should have its essence, its purpose in it. Like if you were to play Flappy Bird, like the game that existed many years ago, I don't know what essence they did it, but it kind of just made people angry. But some games you have like, it gives you an emotional value sometimes. If you were to develop a shooting game, probably it helps you reduce stress or something. So if you were to develop like the POW game, where you get to take care of a digital creature like Talking Tom, it just feels much more, it's emotional a bit. It is not always practical. People do games based on emotional things as well. So yeah. In our session today, we'll be building a game as a tribute to endangered animals, specifically local endangered animals. There are a few local endangered animals, but you guys can guess who's that? Pokemon. Let's say, yeah. So if you guys can guess, you can guess, but probably would have known our locally endangered animal is the Malayan tiger. Its population is very low right now. You could count it in your fingers. So it's a tribute so that you guys can get some awareness of the current situation among endangered animals, endangered species. There's endangered plants as well. So to understand, to have this love towards nature and stuff. Exactly what games should also have inside. An emotional value to it. You'll probably get some just time spending, like, okay, it's interesting, I get to play games. But when you add something emotional value, it really does help change the world a bit. So today, I'll be making sure you guys get some awareness on endangered animals, specifically Malayan tiger. Our game will be built all around Malayan tiger, like saving Malayan tiger and stuff. So yeah. So the idea, the concept of the game that we're trying to build today is to save the Malayan tiger from hunters, poachers, you know, the kind of people that would want to endanger the animals. Like in this case, it's a fun infographic. It might be fun, it's the truth, it's happening all around us. We just have to be aware of it. If you see, you have to try to fight back a bit, try to save them. Not physically, you could do things by the law, you know. So in order to stimulate that feeling to love towards Malayan tigers, towards endangered animals in general, so that's what we're trying to do today. And for example, here there's hunters. They caught this Malayan tiger, this cub. It's a very cute cub, and they are selling it for money. And if you had that ability to act as a ninja, like that, it's fun because you're from Digital Ninja, right? So it's fun. Imagine being a ninja carrying a katana. It's fun, but it requires discipline. Just saying. Yeah. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to develop a game where us, being the digital ninjas, will create a ninja that saves the endangered wildlife, the Malayan tiger, from hunters and poachers. So yeah, sayonara it is. Before we start, I would like the people in my Zoom meeting to make sure you guys are prepared. I've sent you guys emails, and yeah, make sure you prepared all your materials that you guys need for the session today, because we'll be using it right now. Okay. So first things first, I want you guys to go to the Construct website. It's just construct.net. You would see things, you see like this. So I'll just wait a bit for you guys to go. Meanwhile, I'll show those who are on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. I will just give you a short intro of Construct 3. They have free trial platform that kind of is more than enough for you to create a very basic game, a fun basic game though. It won't be very interesting like you're playing Genshin Impact or COD Mobile or PUBG, but it'll be something that you can have fun. So they have examples here that games that they have created with Construct 3. It's quite interesting, but today we'll just be doing something very simple so you guys can learn the basics of Construct 3 and probably be a wonderful game developer one day, making games like probably better than Genshin Impact or Call of Duty Warzone. Yeah. So yeah, these are the example games that you can do with Construct 3. There's this golf game, this shooting game, physics soccer game, 3D maze castle is like how you play a first-person shooter kind of game. They have 3D city. It's not very simple. It's honestly very complicated to do this stuff. But if you learn the basics, then it's just the power of your mind to do this kind of things, all the imagination that you can. So if you have any questions later on while we're doing the session, feel free to put it in the chat box. For those who are on live, put it in the live chat. My volunteers will be there to collect the questions. Yeah. So I hope you guys are ready. If you go to try now, we can launch the Construct 3 platform. And for this part, you can just say, no thanks, no now. This is where you'll be making all the games and stuff. So first things first, you guys look at the templates that they have. You could just go ahead and like preview project or open project and like try look at what they have done, but it would be slightly confusing. So first things first, let's go with the basic stuff. So hope you guys are following. If you guys are here, okay, you can go ahead and click on new project. You don't have to change any of the settings. I'll explain what is all this later. Go ahead and create. Let's say, since you're doing a tribute to Malayan tigers, our project name will be, my project name will be Malayan tigers. Yeah, a tribute again to all endangered animals. Okay, once you've created your project, you would see something like this, say something similar to this. If you haven't changed any settings, this will be the default settings of the Construct 3 editor, where you would be making your own game. You don't have to get so confused. We will go through it one by one. Okay. First things first, I'd like to introduce you to the user interface, like what you guys see. Like, okay, let's just look around the Construct 3 first. We have about, like just now we named the project name into Malayan tigers. We have that. Version information, description, ID, author is probably, you can put your name, it's fine. Your email, website, if you're a professional developer, then you would put all this information. Then we have background color, we have splash colors, startup. So you should, when you first open your project, you will come to your layout one and stuff. Loader style, the Construct 3. They have display. This one I have to show you guys what it is. So the viewport. If you guys can see a bit closer, you have this lines on the center here. Okay, can you see this? Not the blue lines, but these slightly gray dotted lines you have. Whatever there's in between these lines, like exactly here, this is called your viewport, meaning what you see when you're playing the game. Okay. Yeah. There's a viewport, then we have all other stuff. If you see on the other hand here, we have all the things that are currently in the project. We have the event sheet. Event sheet is where you do the programming. It's not very hard, it's very easy, honestly. All the programming and stuff. You have sound, you have music, you have videos, font, all these are a bit higher level. We just do basic stuff. I hope you guys are following. For the first thing we do, we'll just make a background. Like what you see when you play the game. So in order to put a background, you can right click, insert new object, or in later towards when you're a bit more experienced, you can just double click anywhere on the center and it will appear like this. It's much easier, but it's okay. You can right click, insert new object, then you can you have all these things. If you don't want to confuse yourself, it's okay, it's fine. We go for the basics first only. You have sprite. Sprite is the one we'll be using like every time, because it's basically what you can put things like a picture and stuff like that. You can draw. So that's what we call sprite. And then we have input. For now, you guys are using your computers, your laptops, or your desktops. So we won't be using gamepad unless you have one. We'll be using mouse and keyboards. Touch is for if you're building games or phones or tablets and stuff, whichever supports touch. And we have media, game recorder, geolocation, speech recognition and stuff. Then if you want to make some money through advertisements, like you play games, you have advertisements, you have this part. But in order to use this, you would have to pay to the platform. So we'll just be doing a simple one. Okay. So for the first thing, we go to general, and then we have sprite for background. You can use tiled background, but it's not very beautiful. I can show you how tiled background would look like though. So once you click insert, you would have your cursor will change into this plus symbol. So you can just click on the screen and this will pop out. You can draw whatever you like. If you choose a color or something, you can draw whatever you like. If you want to draw your background or something, let's say you draw this and this is your preferred background. Just to say, if you were to close this window, you would get something like this. Just a picture of what you drew just now. So yes. I hope you guys have downloaded the materials that I gave you guys. Okay. Let me know if you have downloaded. If you have, then we can go very easily. So back to the insert part. Let's go ahead and do sprite. Insert sprite, you can click on anywhere. And then if you see this small folder icon, it says load images from files. So if you click that, it'll open your file explorer or the desktop thing using. So you should just navigate to the file that you have. So yeah, let's try that. So we have the assets, the materials that I gave you. We have the hunter, we have the ninja on standby, we have ninja throwing star, we have the target, we have the cute Malayan tiger, and we have the tropical rainforest background. So this will be our background. You can click on the rainforest background and click open. It will look big. Okay. Once you load the image, the background, you can just click X. You don't have to click save or anything because you haven't made any other changes. So you just click close and the background would appear quite big. You can still see the viewport, but the background is way too big. So if you were to right click on this picture, the big background picture you have, and you go to align. Under align, you can see you have cover viewport and you have cover layout. If you're to cover layout, okay, let's just go ahead and do cover viewport. Should be easier. So remember earlier we had the dotted lines. So once you click, right click, align and cover viewport, you see this. Let's assume that it's a bit smaller. You want to see how it looks when you play the game, right? So you can go up here. You have this play icon, preview. So you can just click on that. It'll load and you'll be able to see this. If you realize, it just looks whatever that's in between these dotted lines. So this is where you'll be playing your game. So far there's nothing there. This is just the background. So in order to like completely see the whole thing, right click again, align, cover viewport. If you were to cover layout, it would cover like the whole thing towards the end. If you're doing a game that requires you to walk around like a map, then this would be a bit appropriate. But we'd be doing a simple game, so it doesn't require that. So we just focus on what we see in the viewport. So since the background is all done and you probably don't want to disturb the background, if you don't want to like accidentally just move it like this and stuff, so you can just right click on the background on this. Once it's selected, you right click and you can choose lock selection. Then now you won't be able to like choose the background. If you double click, it will just bring you to the insert options. So yes, you can unlock it by just right clicking anywhere and go for unlock all on layer 2, unlock all is the same. Yeah, so because you don't want to disturb the background anymore. If you don't do the lock, then working on the game will be slightly harder later on. Okay, so now we can insert new stuff. First thing, we obviously want to insert our hero of the game, the ninja in the game. Okay, let's go ahead. Again, sprite, we'll be just using sprite. And just if you have this cross, just click anywhere on the screen and you come back to this place. Same thing again on the load images from files. Click that. Then you can go, you can see all this. Just choose the ninja on standby. Then load, you'll get like this. You'll get this ninja on exercising position, I guess. Yeah. He looks, just don't mind the size yet. You can obviously resize him. Like compared to the trees, you can see at the back, he's too big. If you want to like resize him, you can make him thin and tall or a bit short and plump. This size about here should be fine, but it's honestly up to you. There's nothing, when it comes to making your game, it's your own creativity. What background we use, what objects we put in. You could just put a dinosaur as the ninja and it still would work. It's up to you, it's your creativity. I'm here trying to show you guys the basics. I would be honestly very happy to see those people on Zoom. If you guys are doing this later on, please do share a screen. It'd be much interesting if you guys like try to be a bit different, a bit creative. If you don't use my materials, it's fine, because game development requires creativity. And you can go ahead, you can change the ninja with whatever character you want to put. Optimus Prime, or you want to put a Pikachu or anything, probably some anime characters, it's fine. No problem. It just makes it more creative. Okay, so we have a ninja here. I'll be using the ninja because we are from the digital ninja. Yeah, I'll just put a ninja there and we'll try play. When you play something, a game, you would like automatically go to your keyboard, try to move. If gamers would use WASD, you use arrow or something, but it doesn't move because you haven't tell it that you should move when you press some buttons. So in order to make him move, we would have to like give him some behaviors. You can close the preview, click on the ninja, and then on the left hand side, if you scroll at a certain place, you can see behaviors. Click on edit behaviors. Here you can see when you add behaviors, it will all be here in the same place. So we can add like certain characteristic to the object or to the player and stuff. So we can add new behavior. There's quite a lot of behaviors here, like jump through, no save, solid being you would make a solid object. We'll use that later on. I'll show you what is this. Bound to layout. Bound to layout is quite important because if you don't use this behavior bound to layout, like, okay, I'll show you guys what happens. For the first thing, we should probably make him move, like, because since it's a platform based game, like he should only be on the ground. Going back, if we cancel this, you can see this is the ground, and what we want is we want him to just walk in this direction, right, left, probably he can jump over, jump, but you wouldn't want him to walk all the way to the other places. So in order to make that specific behavior, it would be a platform based game, because platform meaning there's something for him to stand on. Yes, as you can see here, there's platform. We can add that behavior and we could make him move now. He won't move in the way you like, but I'll just let you guys see if you were to make it like this. And if I hit preview, and he would just fall down. If you close and you open again, you can see him falling down. If I were to put him higher, there's gravity in the game, that's the physics in the game now. He will just fall down because we gave him the behavior of a platform-based character, but he doesn't know that there's a platform there for him to stand on in the first place. So in order to make him move in that certain direction, he should have a path to walk on, like a brick path, something. So in order to do that, you have to insert new object. The sprite, again, we'll just be using sprite for this. Insert sprite. And you could just draw a, before you do anything, in here, in order to make a platform, in this case, it's flat. So we'll be using the rectangle. And if you come right here, and then you could hold your mouse, and if you pull, it will make a box for you. Don't mind the color or anything. Okay. The color, because we'll be making it transparent later on. I will be making it transparent, but it's up to you, your creativity. So once we have this, we can close, and you can see the platform here. A box. It's technically a box. It doesn't have anything else. Extend it. You have to bring it down because the box, this object here, is not just the blue ones. It's the whole line, the turquoise line that you see. That is object. So no matter what color you put just now, this is where if he's standing there, then he would probably stand on this turquoise line. Okay. So now for this, we can reduce the settings here, opacity. It doesn't affect your thing, but we can reduce the opacity to 0. Then you wouldn't be able to see any colors. It would just be an invisible box there. And let's try limb preview, see what happens. He still fell because he knows there's something, an object there, but he still doesn't know it's a platform for him to stand on. So in order to make like it a fixed, solid platform, you would have to give this platform a behavior. You can add new behavior. Again, I would like to show you guys again. Behavior is on when you click on the object that you want to give a behavior. On the left-hand side, you would see edit behaviors here. Then you can add new behavior. Then we go for solid. If you see the description down there, make the object impassable so others could not move or fall through it. It's exactly what we want. We don't want the player to move through it. We don't want the player to fall through it. So it's a solid object. Now the player would know that there's a solid object there and he would just stand there. See, he fell a bit, but he got right on the platform. If you can see, he's right on the turquoise line here. Okay. So if you were to move the character now, he'll be moving right, left. But let's say if you were to move him like all the way out, he wouldn't be able to come back no matter how hard you try. It's because he's falling to eternity and stuff. Because we only made the box under here. If he moves towards the edge and he falls off, it's like he's falling from a cliff and he will just keep falling because there's no end to the bottom. So we wouldn't want that to happen. That's why we have this behavior for the player should have is to edit behavior. We need to add another behavior, which I mentioned earlier about bound to the layout. He would be bound to the layout, meaning this outside box, not the viewport. The layout is the big thing. This is the viewport. The one we are using is a viewport. So bound to layout, he won't be able to fall out on the left, but he might fall out on the right. So in order to make that, we'd have to place another solid object later on. For now, we can just bound him to layout. Like if you see, if you try right now, he won't be able to go any much further to the left, but he could still go to the right. And he fell. So, like we said earlier, imagine this object here. We need to create another one, like a wall on the right hand side. Okay. Let's go ahead. If you guys remember, double click or right click. I just did the double click technique. If you do right click and insert new object, is fine. You could go and do sprite again and insert new sprite. Click on anywhere on the screen, it doesn't matter. And draw out another rectangle. Since it's like vertical now, so we have to do it vertically, I guess. But it doesn't matter though. No matter what you draw, you still opaque it anyways, like make it transparent, and only the lines, the outer edges will matter. So yeah, if you want to make a real wall, you put an image of a brick wall or something, it'll be interesting as well. It's up to use your creativity. You can draw it if you want. Yeah. So let's just close. It doesn't matter though what you do here, because this line is the wall, not this blue one. So if you bring it, drag it, it goes like this. You put right at the edge, a bit inside, should be good. We bring it all the way down. Now he has this virtual walls that he cannot pass, that players won't be able to see. So if you click on this and you reduce the opacity to 0 on the left hand side, you have to click on it before you change the opacity, then it will be invisible. Oops. Yeah. If you ever move it, that's why I said lock selection. Like just now we accidentally like dragged it. So you can just right click and lock the selection. Same goes to this, because we won't be disturbing it later on. Lock selection. So you don't have to like accidentally click on it. Okay, let's try. Hopefully the player doesn't fall. I mean, he won't, because we built a cage for him. You guys notice what was the mistake? We haven't put a behavior for the wall earlier. So let's unlock back. Unlock all. You have to put the behavior. You forget things, it's okay. You try, we do again. Have solid again. Add. Close. It should be fine. Now you can lock selection. Because once you unlock all, it unlocks every object. You have to lock back again, even the background. Lock selection. Okay. Please don't fall. It's not going anywhere on the left. It's not. Ooh, nice. Looks like Mario. Okay. It's not going anywhere on the right. Probably too far there. but he still doesn't fall out anyway, so it's good. All good there. Okay, now we have our character, we have him jumping. Now we should add the villains of the game. Okay, double click again, add sprite, insert anywhere on the screen, it doesn't matter. Can load the image of the villain, in our case the hunter. He's trying to shoot the tiger. Hunting in general is okay, but it's illegal hunting that is very dangerous. So if you were to like leave him here, it's fine, play, and he would just like be there not doing anything, because you want the hunter to do something, you want to fight back in a way. That's the game about, to save the Malayan tiger that we're adding later on. So about that, the hunter will just be here. His role in the game is to try to shoot the tiger, and we would do the best as honorable ninjas trying to stop the hunter from shooting the tigers, to save a tiger's life. Any life in general, saving a life is a good thing. So if we have the villain now, we have our main character here. Our villain is quite boring because he's just standing there for no reason. We'll probably want him to shoot something since you have a gun. So in order to shoot something, you need to have a bullet, like an image of a bullet. But in this case, we can add a sprite. I have added a target in the folder. We can add, and you see this target over here. So you can open. It'll be just this. You don't have to make bullet. We can just make a target. So you can close. Be a very large target. You can resize it to any size you want, or you want to just leave it huge. It's up to you. It's your creativity, and it looks nice if it's your creativity. It's funny. People will enjoy it anyways. Just be creative about what you do. Yeah, this should be good. Like he's shooting something. So in order to shoot something, there needs to be something that he'd be aiming for. In this sense, the tiger. So let's add our Malayan tiger. Click on the screen. Load image. You can load the image of the tiger we have. Close. Oh, that's one huge tiger. Resize it to be cute. This cute little tiger that the ninja is trying to save. Isn't that cute? So yeah, if you realize something, remember I said earlier, we have on the right hand side the materials, the list, whatever that we add into the game would appear on the right hand side. It says sprite because yeah, it is a sprite. But in order to make our lives easier later on, you would have to label every time you add a sprite. You can right click, rename it to, if like this, in this case it's a background. It's a good practice among like game developers, or if you're an app developer, you'd understand, programmer, you'd understand this. It's a good practice to label things that you put, so you can understand someone else, if they were to go through your project, they would actually understand what is it, instead of you just leaving it as sprite 2, sprite 3 and something. So sprite 2 is our ninja. Sprite 3 is the, see now I can see that's actually the bottom wall of it. So let's just say the platform. Okay. Yeah. This will be the wall. This will be the target. this will be the hunter. It doesn't matter how you name it. You don't have to specifically follow me. As long as you know what it is, then you should be fine. It's just a good practice to name it a tiger. So we've been going through this for quite some time, and I would like to see someone's work. Thus far, you don't have to be nice. You don't have to worry about whether it's being nice or anything. You could just show me how it looks. We would probably have fun looking at it. No problem. It'll be interesting though. So I would like someone to volunteer and show me what they're doing thus far. If you are unable to catch up, if you have any questions, you can ask also at the same time. We have time. So anyone wants to share their screen? You could go to the Zoom and new share your screen. If you guys are a bit shy, you can at least tell to me how are you doing in the chat. It's quite lonely. Let me talk to someone then. Ziswan, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, but hi. Can you say hi in the chat at least? Hi. How's your progress? Is everything good so far? Okay, will you able to catch up? If you have any questions, you can ask me. I'll be more than happy to help. How's it going so far? If anyone else wants to say something? It's a bit lost, but I'm figuring out how it works. Which part, bro? Are you a bro or a sis? But overall, okay, nice to hear that. Overall, you're okay, nice. I see. It's possible to use a tablet if you're doing it. Yes, so it's a bit different. Yes, I understand. So do it slowly. You can watch the session again. And to those who are interested in game development, if you want to rewatch the session we have, you can watch this, I guess. But there's this one series on MYDIGITALMAKER's YouTube channel. It's called the From Scratch series that I made myself, where you could go and learn game development as it is, like how I'm teaching you guys now. And you could also learn app development. I teach you how to make apps and stuff. So yeah, you could go there, have some fun. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us on our social media, our Digital Ninja Alumni on Instagram. So if you have any questions at all, if you cannot catch up, or if you want to if you're interested in game development or anything related to tech, we'll be able to help. We'll be happy to help you guys. That's our initiative. We're trying to help the upcoming generation, so to speak. Okay. Anyone else? Can you share a screen if you can? It'd be nice though. If anyone else is interested, feel free to say hi. Say hi in the chat. We could have a chat for a while. Yeah. How long time taken to create a simple game? If you're a beginner, probably just if you were to follow my session, you could create a game in like a working, proper, simple game that you would have fun in 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, around there. Maximum 2 hours. I would definitely say that you could create a working game in less than 2 hours. If you follow the tutorial videos that I have on MYDIGITALMAKER's YouTube channel, it will probably just take you 1 hour or less than 1 hour. Any other questions? You can ask anything game related. Since you guys are here, I'm guessing you guys are interested in this stuff. So yeah. Anyone else has any questions? Feel free to ask anything.
Okay, ada apa-apa soalan?
Ya.
Ada apa-apa soalan?
MC tolong tanyakan. MC ada apa-apa soalan ke?
Oh tak ada. Tapi ambil masa juga lah nak bina game ni kan.
Yeah. Kalau memang ada interest, if you have the interest in game development, it's probably it's fun though if you were to develop the game. It's not very complicated in Construct 3. So yeah. I would just hope someone could share their screen, but if you want to, if it's okay, you can talk to me personally later on after the end of the session. You can contact us anytime. We'll just be on Instagram, Facebook. You can contact us anytime. We'll be there. So without further ado, I think we should continue the session today. Okay. Back to where were we? Like we were trying to make a game where ninjas can protect the Malayan tiger, and the hunter here is trying to use his target and like trying to shoot the Malayan tiger like this. So the essence of how the game would work is that the hunter, the target is like it will move towards to the Malayan tiger in slowly, like how you would aim with a sniper. It will move slowly. Once it reaches the Malayan tiger, then it will shoot. But obviously our ninjas have to try to fight the hunters before that happens. That's the fun part in the game. Okay. So if I were to just hit play right now, and then it will just be these objects that are just sitting there. Like I could jump and stuff, but even the like the player wouldn't be able to like shoot or anything. Okay, so at this point we would probably have to go for the programming part. Okay, so the thing that we're going to do right now, the programming of just the target moving towards the tiger. Okay, we go, if you see up here, there's layout where we work on the visual stuff, and then there's this event sheet where we would go and do the technical stuff, the programming and stuff like that. Okay, so add event. So there's few things that you can add. This is why we label earlier, so that you wouldn't have any problem trying to figure out which is which if you have confused, but you could visually look at it and find out. It's a good practice. It's a good habit to have to label things. So first thing we want to do is the target. When the start of the game, the target would move towards the tiger. That's the thing that we're trying to do today. So we should, as we say it, we would have the programming in our mind, you know, like when the game starts, the target moves to the tiger. So in that order, we have to make the programming. Like we said, when the game starts, like if, when, those are called conditions. Okay. So when you were to do programming like this, conditions come first, and if the game meets the condition, then that certain thing will happen. It applies to not only game development, but in our real life, if it was a condition, then it would happen in the end. So being that, so we have to choose the condition. We have to think like, when the game starts, the target moves towards the tiger. So when the game starts, meaning it would be in the system, not in any other objects. We have a chat. Oh yeah, if you're wondering about copyrights, yes, it's a good thing if you could copyright it yourself. Like if you were to draw it yourself and stuff like that. Like if you see here, all the objects that I used is the one that I kind of did myself, designed a bit. Like the target, we take it from vectors and stuff like that. We design ourselves. You could draw it yourself, take a picture of it, and then make it into a picture JPEG, PNG, and you could do. But for now, you don't have to worry about copyrights because you won't be making any profit out of it. If you are going to make profit out of something that you made, then you would have to worry about copyrights. But for now, you're just trying to build a hobby, or if you were going to be very serious on it, then you should think about designing materials for games. Since that's like a bit advanced level, you have to design stuff. Yeah, but for copyrights, yes. If you're wondering about copyrights, that's the thing. And we have another question. Is the programming hard? To answer the question, it's more relative in a sense that if you were to develop a game by yourself, like with the level of a pro game developer, you'd probably have to do programming with programming languages like Python, Java, C++, so on. That is harder than this, meaning this is easier. I think this is as easy as it gets. Okay, let me just show you. I'm already in the programming part already. Coming back, when the game starts, target move towards tiger. So when the game starts is what are we trying to do now? We only be able to find that in system. If you double click system, we have all these possible conditions that could happen. Don't have to use everything. Usually we use every tick. Every tick in a game meaning every time. Like in a game, if you are developing a game with construct tree, every tick meaning there's 60 ticks in a second. So if a gamer would know like 60 FPS and stuff like that. So in construct tree, it works in 60 frames per second. So 60 times in a second, it would consider like a tick. So that means in 60 seconds, in 1 second, you will have 60 ticks. So we say every tick. So it generally means every time. That's the idea of every tick, meaning every time. So if you scroll down, you can find, on start of layout, meaning on the start of the game, almost at the very bottom, you have compare time. Here you have on start of layout, meaning on the start of the game. You click on it and click next. You would have this on top here. This is the condition. On the left hand side is the condition. So let's say if the game starts or when the game starts, you need to add an action, like what should happen when the game starts. In this case, like I said, target moves towards tiger. So the next thing, target move towards tiger. So target next move towards, in this case you have like rotate clockwise, rotate towards angle, rotate towards position and stuff. I have all this, but in order for it to move towards something, it should be already be moving. Then you can just change the angle of movement towards a position. Okay. So in order to, if you like say rotate towards position, you just change the angle towards the position, but it won't move towards the position. So if you want to do that, we have another question. Sorry for those who are busy, so into it, we have questions coming, can answer that. Differences between animation series and animation games. Time frame. Animation things, animation series like anime and stuff, sometimes they like to change the frames per second. If you were to do like a sad thing emotion in a series, then it will go in a slow frame per second. If you were to like a fight scene or something like that, it will go at a very fast frames per second. Animation games, on the other hand, they are usually constant on how many frames per second. Like that, if that's a question. If not, then I'm sorry if I didn't answer the question properly. I hope that's the answer to your question. Yeah. Okay, back to this. We need to add another behavior to the target, because the target is, in the sense, the bullet that the gun of the hunter will shoot towards the tiger. And if you saw in the behavior earlier, you could add behavior from here. You can just click on target from the right hand side. On the left hand side, then you can edit behaviors for the target. You can add new behavior. You see here, there should be something called bullet. That means it will move the object ahead its current angle, like whatever angle it is in, it will just move towards like that. It will just shoot. Okay, can add that because technically he's shooting a bullet. So back to adding action again. The target move towards that position. So you should set the angle towards, because it said it will move in such that it will be ahead of the angle that it's in. So you should just set the angle towards the tiger's position and it should be just fine. So this is where it gets slightly interesting. It's asking the x and y values. Like if you were to learn in school, we have graphs, we have the x, the y values. You don't have to go and calculate all the x and y values. This is game development, not maths class. So to make it easier, you can just change the x value because it's moving towards the tiger and it's just the tiger. So it's something you can learn right now. It's just tiger. If you double click the tiger here, the options, okay, just type out tiger, add dot, full stop meaning, and add x. If there's an option here, you can choose. Okay, tiger dot capital X. Here, same thing, but y, of course. Tiger dot. Once you click the full stop, it will give you a lot of options. If you were to scroll down, you can just choose y at the almost very bottom. Double click on it. This is what you would have, you want to have later. Okay, click done. And we've programmed that on the start of the game, target is set the angle to be towards, looking towards tiger. Let's just start the game, hoping that's what you want happens. See, it went to the angle. It didn't stop, but it did pass through the tiger, meaning that our mission was accomplished in a sense, because it should like hit the tiger, and if we were to lose the game, then it will kill the tiger, unfortunately. So yeah, that's programming stuff. So now, since we already set the target to move towards the tiger, now we can tell the game, like when the target hits the tiger unfortunately dies, is destroyed. Okay. So in order to do that, you would have to add another event. If you realize there's add action, there's add event. This is a separate event, like another condition. Like I said, when the target hits the tiger, then the tiger dies. So again, one by one. When the target next hits the tiger, it means touch something. You'll just look for the meaning. See, like collisions there, on collision with another object, meaning triggered when the object collides with another object, like when the target collides with the tiger. So that's the one that we want. On collision with another object, you can hit next, and target on collision with tiger. Then, so here being the condition, target on collision with tiger, and because when it hits, then the tiger is dead, unfortunately. So we would want the tiger. Again, let me show you again. Choose the tiger. What happens to the tiger, right? Tiger. Scroll down. You would find destroy, meaning the object is destroyed. Okay. So just go click on destroy, and then click next. What I'm trying to say here is target, when it hits the tiger, tiger destroyed. If you want to see how it works, you can just hit play. Just watch it like that. The tiger is dead. And in order to make it more interesting, the bullet, because the bullet technically hits the tiger and it shouldn't be going through again anymore. So we want the bullet to be destroyed as well. In this case, the target. Again, going back, you can choose the target. Let me show again. Add action, because it's under the same condition. Like it should happen right after the target is destroyed. I mean the tiger is destroyed. So going back, target, same thing. Scroll down until you find destroy. Next. So now when it hits the tiger also is destroyed, the target is also destroyed. Like that. So that's technically game over, right? And now what the player should be doing is trying to save the tiger from being killed. Okay. So let's say we would want to make it simple or slightly make fun a bit. Since the hunter has his own weapon, in this case the target, the player should have his own weapon. What weapon does ninjas use? Most famous one lah, maybe katana. He has it on his back, but the one that you could use in the long range, the one that ninjas always throw around, shuriken. Yep. So if you were to go back to sprite, insert the sprite, and then just click on screen and add a file. If you see in our folder here, should have this shuriken logo, the star. It looks quite nice though, to be honest. And close it. And obviously resize the shuriken to be a humanly designed shuriken. I mean, you could do like how people do in anime. Suddenly the ninja from his back pocket takes out a huge knife that's bigger than him. But if you ask me, it's not practical, but it would be fun. It's your own creativity. Just trying to show the basics. It should be about the same size as the target if you want to compare it. You can just leave it here if you want. This works the same way, but in a slightly different manner, where it'll only come out, the shuriken, the star will only come out when the player decides to like throw. So before we do anything else, make sure you add a behavior for the shuriken. In this case, there's a few things that we want to add. The first thing being a bullet, definitely a bullet first. Okay, let's go for bullet first. Yeah, a bullet. You know that if you scroll down, you have all these behavior settings. In this case, we have bullet settings. We have speed, we have acceleration, we have gravity. If you were to add gravity, then you could see the shuriken just flying as a curve downwards. Not very fun. Yes, it could happen. So we would want the shuriken to fly from the player's hand to the hunter. Like when you click the mouse, it just flies. It's the player hunter, and then the hunter is destroyed, and saving the tiger at the same time. So going back to the event sheet, first thing that we should add is the ability for the player to shoot things, to make things appear from his hand or wherever you want it to appear from. So in order to do that, there's something that you need to know about this. If you click the player, double click it, you return back to this place. There's something called image points. Like it's a reference point to a certain object. Like if you see, usually it's in the center, but you could put it like anywhere you want. Center, you can put it on this hand, put it on this hand. Like depending on where you want to shoot the shuriken from, you could put it on his forehead. It wouldn't mind. It wouldn't mind. It'd be nice, interesting. Yes. So in this case, it'd be logical to put on his hand here, because that's where you want the shuriken to come out from. Because in order to make the program work, the game should know where is it coming from and stuff. So yeah, we're putting it an image point here. Click on this image point and then change the image point to the edge of your finger. Then you can close. And then you can go back to event sheet. And what we're trying to add now is the ability for the player to shoot or make the shuriken come out from his hand first. So add event. We want, like, for example, since you're using a mouse, if you're using a mouse or a mouse pad or the thing on your laptop, you would want to like click, like left click or something, or you would use your keyboard or space bar or something. It's okay. But in this case, it's the same. It's just the same. You need to add something else to the as a behavior for the player. Let me show you guys and edit behavior. Oh, hold on a second. Oh yeah, it's not the behavior of the player because you're adding a new thing into the game, like a mouse, for example. We added platform earlier, so it automatically means that you can use the keyboard to control. But in order to shoot something, if you want to use your mouse, then you have to include mouse as your input. And to do that, you just have to double click anywhere or right click, insert new object. Could scroll down until you find the right input that you want. If you're using a gamepad, you can use a gamepad. If you want to use a keyboard as your input, like to shoot the shuriken later, it's up to you. The way of doing it is the same. It's just what input you're going to use. In my case, I would probably go for a mouse. Okay, insert. So you add the mouse here. You have mouse now. Now you have the ability to use the mouse to play the game as well. So you can add event. The event, the condition being that when I click the mouse, the ninja will shoot the shuriken from his hand. So coming back to follow the flow of the sentence, when the mouse is clicked, ninja shoot shuriken from hand. So again, when the mouse is on click, next, you probably want left click if you're using a mouse. Done. So when the mouse is left clicked, you want the ninja. Okay, you want the ninja, you add action. You want the ninja to be shooting the shuriken. So you have to find an action called that's related to shooting. In construct tree, we call it spawn another object. That means make another object, because when I hit the mouse, the ninja would make the shuriken like come out from his hand. Okay. That use spawn another object. That means creates another object on this object. This object creating another object. So for the object, obviously we want to shoot the. See, because I didn't label and it looks weird. In this case, it should be a shuriken or a weapon or something. Okay, in order to make it a positive habit, it's better to go back and label it so that you don't repeat. So let's call it shuriken. Again, show you guys again. Add action, ninja. Scroll down, then you have spawn another object. That means the ninja is technically making another object. So spawn another object, hit next. Then for the object, we have the shuriken, where the ninja will just make the shuriken coming out from his hand, like he's some kind of anime character. Layer 0, image point 0, you don't have to understand that. Then hit done. We can try out. Every time I would recommend, every time you make some changes, go ahead, try it out so that you know stuff. If you didn't realize, let's see what happened again. Two things happened. The target moved towards the tiger and the tiger died, target disappeared, and the shuriken just flew by itself. It's because we already added the bullet, so when it starts, automatically it will just move at this speed, 400, the speed of it. And if you see earlier, the target moving towards the tiger is too fast for us players to react. So on start of layout, it's probably too early if you want to put like quickly, so fast the target just move towards the player. You probably add a bit of delay to it. So in order to add delay, you can go to system. Could use they have this thing at the very bottom, I think. Where is it? Oh, my bad. Add action, system. We want it to like be a delay and stuff. Yeah. So you want it to like delay, meaning wait. So the game would just wait for a second, or how many seconds you want for us to like prepare ourselves. It's like suddenly thing comes. Probably wait 2 seconds should be okay. And then you can actually drag, like since it's shoot then wait, it should be wait then shoot. So you bring the weight higher like this. Let go. Now the weight is on top. Okay, you can just drag, drop, drag, drop. So in this case, just wait 2 seconds before doing anything. Probably buy us some time. If you see it was weird, it's because that it waited for 2 seconds before moving towards the object. So it waited 2 seconds, like it was going at the same time. It was just going and it turned back. Once it's 2 seconds is over, it turned back and hit. You would have things like this that you would face when developing a game. So you need to solve things in a different way. But leave that as it is. Just good. See our ninja. So if you left click now, you can actually ninja can actually shoot things. It's a bit weird, but yeah, it works. You just left click, you can shoot. If you guys are using mouse or tablet, if you use touch, then you shoot, I guess. Yep, exactly like this. But he'll just be shooting at this angle. Huh? Okay, going back to the main part, there's a few things that we want to add. A few things that is not nice in the game at this moment, like how the bullet just flew for 2 seconds and then hit the target. So in order to do that, we kind of have to explore what are the options we have to handle this thing. The only two things that you would have to look into is the system and the target. And in this case, you can go to the target, scroll down, you just have to look through stuff. Stop stepping for the stick. You have all these things, you can explore this. So in order to let it like properly wait, I think you probably want to change these settings, like not wait, probably like pause the whole game for a second. You like if you were to like finish the game and you could restart layout. Yeah, restart layout is quite important. You could start back the game at any time if you want. And the most important thing is actually to slow down the bullet. It was too fast anyways. To have it at 400. Not this bullet. This bullet is okay. This bullet is okay. The target, you would have to slow it down. It's too fast. It would be like 100. Obviously, the villain would be at a disadvantage because players are the heroes of the game. Not always, yeah, but usually players are the heroes of the game. Okay. Now, even if you put this upwards, it should be fine. Yeah, test it out. Oh yeah, before we test it out, we should add like the game restart by itself, so we don't have to close and open every time we want to see it happen. Go down. Let me show. On collision with tiger, meaning this is when the game is like over and there's nothing to do and stuff. So we could just restart the game at this point. Go down. Let's restart layout. Okay, let's try. the thing that you notice is he cannot shoot at the hunter. I'm not liking it, it's just because he's not looking towards the hunter. So in order to do something like that, he should be looking to the hunter. So if you want him to look at the hunter, then you probably have to change some things. For example, here, like how earlier we set the target to move towards the hunter. You probably want to change this when you like shoot something, the shuriken would move towards the hunter itself. So in this case, if you left click, the shuriken should move, or at least set the angle towards in the game developer meaning. Set angle towards position. And if you remember this part, it's the position that's looking forward to go to. Earlier we used tiger.x, tiger.y. But now since the shuriken is shooting the hunter, it should be hunter, whatever you label it. Or else we'll just be using sprite2 or something .x. That's why we use labels. It's much better. Hunter.x, hunter.y. Yep. Let's see. Oh, it is going to bite. How about if we slow this down so that we can see how things happen? He could actually just shoot at the hunter like that. But if it's a bit weird, because the hunter is on the left hand side, you could do something like going back to the layout, can hit this player, can right click on the player, and you could change a bit of the settings like edit, and you could just flip the player like this with this option here. So he'd be looking at the hunter now. Okay. And you probably don't want this to be here. Just put it outside because he can make the bullet come anytime, right? So yeah. So let's start. Can actually like shoot him, but he's not dying because we haven't programmed it to like destroy. So it's the same thing as earlier, like what we did with target on collision with tiger. Same thing, repeat, but shuriken on collision with another object, in this case, the hunter. Okay. We do that again. It's the same thing. Shuriken on collision with the hunter. So the player is trying to destroy the hunter. We're trying to save endangered wildlife here. Yeah, shuriken on collision with hunter. Can add an action. What happens afterwards? First thing would be the hunter being the object of the hunter being destroyed. And the next thing, the shuriken would also be destroyed, or else you have so many shurikens. Shuriken destroyed. So another thing that I don't think I've told you guys yet, is about the shuriken. As you notice just now, the player could create as many shurikens as he wants, as long as how fast he clicks. But there's a disadvantage to something like that to your game. When you create something so much, the device that you're using won't be able to kind of support the number of objects you create because it has to compute this information. So you want to like remove some things you don't want to happen, Like in this case, he would just probably be shooting all the shurikens. You wouldn't be able to see, but the shurikens are still in the game, but it's just not visible. It's just keep on going all the way to eternity, like towards the end of world and stuff. So unless you stop the game, it will keep on getting slower and slower and slower. Then, so in order to do that, you want something like this. Destroy outside layout. So when the shuriken just passes the edge of the layout, it will be destroyed. and the computer or the device they're using won't have to think about it. Okay, can destroy, and you'll probably feel a lot smoother the game if you were to try on very restricted PC or something. Wow, since the hunter is destroyed, you see the thing is we have destroyed the hunter, but the target is still there. It should be destroyed as well when the hunter is gone. So we should have had that target also destroyed. Around destroy. Then this will be the happy part, the happy ending of it. Ta-da! You've won the game, stuff like that. Now you can just be shooting it anywhere you want. If you want it to be more interesting, like you want to make it slightly more fun, you could change the setting here on left click, because we set the angle towards where the hunter is. So easy, anyone, it just automatically moves towards the hunter. It's auto aim, but it will be much interesting if you yourself aim. So in this case, we'll be using a mouse to aim. So instead of hunter.x, it would be mouse.x and mouse dot full stop dot whatever it is y. It done. Now it should be slightly more fun and more interesting because you would have to aim where you want to shoot. Like this, you can aim wherever you want. You can aim here, you can aim here, you can aim anywhere you want. Okay, it's fun. I almost got, like, I forgot that I have to be teaching and I was just playing. So a bit unfortunate part here now is that there's nothing else to do in this game. It's a bit boring right now. You kill the hunter, so easy. Kill the hunter, he died. A few things that you can add to make the game a bit more interesting. The first thing is adding more villains and stuff. So you could say that when the target, when the shuriken kills the hunter, we let the system wait for a bit, or else it'll be like too fast. I mean, it's fine if it's too fast. So create another hunter. To be more fun, I think it should be we go simple first. Okay, in order to, like, we're trying the game now that when this hunter died, we want a new villain, a different person to replace the guy so we can continue playing the game. So we are going to ask the game to make the object appear in that certain place. So before we do that, okay, we can do that part, no problem. There you have it. Create object in general. You could ask the game to create the hunter. Like the position of where you want the hunter to be, you could use random, but it would be a bit complicated and stuff. We could go for just be easy a bit. Those things are a bit more like complicated. So like if you click hunter here while you're on event sheet, on the right hand side, if you click hunter, you can see information about the hunter right now. On the left hand side, you have the hunter's position. See 57, like mine is 57,339, meaning that he's on the 57th point on the x-axis and the 339th point on the y-axis. Yep. So if we could remember the information, we could use the information and tell the game like this: the shuriken is on collision with the hunter destroyed, shuriken destroyed, target destroyed, and we want a new hunter. So we want the game, the system, to create the object. In this case, just choose the object. We want the game to create another hunter for us to destroy, so that we could save the Malayan tiger anyways. So for X and Y, we will use the same values as the previous hunter. If you can see on the background here on the left, 57. The Y will be 339. So before the comma is the x-axis, and after the comma is the y-axis. I can hit done. Let's try it out though. Yes, the game is creating new hunters at like the very second the old one is destroyed. So that's why it appears as if it's not dying. Okay. Good, close that. That's why we should add delay once in a while in games. Scroll down. You say wait, game, wait for a second before you do the next thing. You say wait, say 2 seconds should be fine, but it should be higher. So when the shuriken kills the hunter is destroyed, the shuriken is destroyed, the target is destroyed. The game waits for 2 seconds before it starts to create another hunter. The one thing that this hunter would lack, I'll show you. So he's aiming. Whoa, fast enough. So wait 2 seconds and ta-da, you have a new hunter. Difference is he doesn't have the target. Because we haven't programmed it there. So we have to add here. Once the object is created, let's change. You want the hunter to spawn another object. In this case, create another object. It means create another object. Spawn means create. Next, what object he creates, the target. At what image point, what layer. I'll show you guys if you don't adjust what's the image, what will happen if you don't adjust image points. Yeah. Now we have like how we used to have. So you can click here. And he's dead. Wait 2 seconds. And you'll just did you see where the target came from? Okay, try to focus. I'm killing him. You see where the target appears when the new hunter comes. Through his belly. It's because of image points. We earlier adjusted the image point of ninja so that the shuriken will shoot from his hand. But for hunter, we didn't adjust, so it's in the default position, meaning the center of the object. So we have to change that. Go back to layout. Double click on the hunter. See? It's here in the center here. Should be up here. It's up to you where you want it to be, but technically speaking, it should be up there. If you see now, since you changed the image point, the position was different. Okay, now back to the usual, the image point is in the center. We saw the x-axis as 57 and the y-axis at 339. But as I change the image point here to the edge, if I cross X, the hunter would move somewhere to the left because this is the image point. We changed the image point. The position of the image point is 57 and 339. So the hunter moved back a bit because of the position. Whatever position that we put all the x-axis and y-axis, it's not the object, it's the image point. So now the new position of him is 116323. And you'll have to change that here, like when he creates a new person. So you can see on the left, it's written there, 116323. Now it should probably spawn in the right place. Now it looks weird because coming from way up. Image point, let us check the image point again. Image point from here. Okay, how about the target's image point? Here, should be fine. Is that okay? Yeah, this should probably be here. Right? Yeah, like this. Another thing, because we have it right here now, you would want to change from on start of layout. Just delete that. Okay, just delete that one. And instead of on start of layout, we use something called the every tick. That means every time when the game is on, the target will just move towards the tiger. No matter if it's a new hunter or anything like that, whenever the hunter is new hunter is created, it will still move towards the target. Set angle towards position, because it'll always keep moving. You just have to adjust the angle of the movement. In this case, like I said, tiger dot x and tiger dot y. Done. Wait for 2 seconds. Again, that is probably boring because it just keeps appearing at the same place and you already know where it's appearing, but I mind, for the sake of being basic, I don't want to complicate things. Like we could do things like he randomly appears throughout the game, probably even on top here. There's things that you can do now. You can probably explore that later on, but I'm just making sure you guys have understand the basics of the game. You guys can make, it's technically a game right now. Just you have the start of the game. These are the basic things of game where there's two things. It's either you win or you lose. So we have the element of losing where the target hits the tiger and the tiger is unfortunately dead. And then we have winning where if the ninja kills the hunter, then the hunter is dead. We could do anything like this is the fundamentals of this game. You could add elements like a scoreboard, a high scoreboard. We see how many hunters can you kill before your tiger is dead. So towards like when you increase your score, then the game will be harder, the time will be faster, maybe the speed of the target will increase. Things like that you can add. But I don't want to overcomplicate things. I feel like this is good enough. You can still kill people. The game, of course. And you can save the endangered wildlife. Okay. If you want to see more stuff, I've done like a shooting game. Like this rocket kills enemy spaceships and stuff. You can see it on the MYDIGITALMAKER's YouTube channel anytime. For now, I guess it should be enough. And it's almost 4:30. It's about 15 minutes left. And I would like to, okay, let me see if we have anything. Can we add some kind of raining effect in the background? Can, I like your creativity. Can add some things like that. Good evening, good evening. Raining effect in the background. You probably want to use a GIF for it, not GF, GIF. It's like a moving image. If you guys don't know, if you guys probably use WhatsApp, then you probably would know what's a GIF, 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 whatever you call it. That you can use because it will just keep on repeating itself, no problem. You could add a video element as a background and you could just let it loop, meaning that it will just go in a cycle, front and back, front and back, front and back, no problem. We can do that to make some kind of interesting things. Yeah, I mean, you could add GIF, like make it a moving effect. But in order to, if you could find that kind of GIF, I mean, it's hard to find like good quality GIFs right now. But video is slightly more recommended, so you can just put it on a loop. Should be easier also. Yeah. So before we talk about the closure of our session, anything else you guys want to ask? You guys want to share? Our friend here is a bit active. We're talking to each other now. Anyone else? You guys want to share your screen or ask something about the session that you don't understand? If you want help on something, you can ask right now. If you have any questions in general regarding any tech, because Today is my Digital Maker Fair, and today's last session is from DNA. We can help anything related to tech. If you have any career questions, could also help you guys. No problem. We have been through those decision making. I've finished my SPM, finished my matriculation, and now I'm in my university doing my second year in bachelor's in AI. So if you have any decisions that you doubt, if you want any advice, things related to your career pathways or your career options, your whatever that you want to know related to your career or tech or digital related, feel free to text us on our Instagram, on our social medias. We'd always be ready to help. Costing, how much does it cost to produce this game? Costing, okay, if you want to produce, let's say, buy now, this is buy now menu here. See, because now we have like, you can see here from just now, right? You have 21 events remaining. We technically only use 4, and we've already done so much, but imagine what you could do with just 25 events that you could like make an epic game with it. But if you still need more, then you can get the paid version of this. If you want to publish it to this stuff, you can publish. Okay, you could try it out. If you are memang into this, then yes, it will be so easy for you to make this stuff, publish it, probably even earn some money from it, make some advertisement. I suggest don't put so much advertisement. No one likes advertisement that much unless it's fun advertisement. More events like this in the future, no problem. You can, if you want, we could do one-to-one sessions. If you need to know anything, any skills that you want to learn, we could do one-to-one sessions. But we would do public events like this, no problem. MDEC, I hope you're listening. Okay, back to where were we? Layers. For now, we only have one layer, layer 0. But if you could add more layers, then you could like add objects in front of objects. You could make 3D effects by just placing a blurry background and a solid object in front. You could make a 3D effect. Same, those things you can add. It comes with experience. Over time, you could just learn it, no problem. Okay. Got MH editor, we got web fonts, monetization, like I said, in-app purchases. That's good. Instead of ads, like how Genshin makes you want to buy those Primo gems if you guys play Genshin. Diamonds in games, sometimes you have to buy real money so that you can play. You shouldn't, as a good game developer, no player wants to play a game that only runs on money, because not everyone has the money to do it. You want to know who you need to contact for one-to-one sessions, just feel free to go to our Instagram. We could do for one-to-one sessions, no problem. We could talk about it, discuss. Okay, feel free to contact us on our Instagram, on our Facebook. We'll be there to reply. Don't worry. Okay, back to an ethics of being a proper game developer. All of us have been experienced downloading games from Play Store or stuff. Sometimes games, every second of the game that we an ad, it's very irritating. Some people just turn off their like data or Wi-Fi. It's not convenient, but probably that's one of the way to make money when you're making games. Because in order to publish the game to like Play Store or Apple App Store, you would have to pay them. Like Play Store, you would have to pay like one-time payment. Previously, it was $100. I'm not sure how much now. They probably reduced the price because of some things that happened recently. Don't worry, man. You can ask any more questions. Okay, no problem. My man here in the chat is being so friendly. Don't be sorry of asking any questions. You should be asking questions if you don't understand anything. In general, like if you don't understand anything, go and ask. Seriously, it's a good habit in your studies or in stuff like that. Yes, go and ask. Coming back to publishing your games. In Play Store, it's about 100. It was $100, but now it's cheaper. You have to just pay it one time, and you can publish how many ever apps you want. It's a fun hobby if you have money. It's a good thing lah. Maybe you could slowly make back the money. In App Store, the Apple App Store, it's way more expensive. It used to be like 400 ringgit, but you have to pay them every year. I guess that's why it's very strict and there's not many apps in Apple App Store compared to Google Play Store. But yeah, if you want to do something like that, you have to get some budget. Like imagine 400 ringgit every year. For me, no, I don't have money to that. I don't, even if you were to make an app so good and people buying 400 ringgit a year, I don't think so. And I think we have Huawei App Gallery now. It was free, so you should probably try that out just in case. But not many people use Huawei App Gallery, so just to keep in mind of all those. Coming back, advertisement, be a good, because imagine if you are playing the game, you wouldn't want to play a game with so many apps, so many ads in the game. And you also wouldn't want to play a game that only, like, you have to pay to win, you know, like you have to pay money to actually win in the games. It should be fun for everyone. Okay. Is anyone ask any questions? You could talk to me if you want to. You want to chat if you want to. Okay. Before we end our session, if you don't have any questions, while we wait for questions, I would like if you guys turn on your cameras right now so we could take a group virtual selfie.
Okay. Selfie.
Okay. Hi. So I hope everyone is happy with today's session. I hope we had out the time. I hope you guys learned something new from today. At least I could make you guys know is the awareness on endangered animals. Think about them. Try to help initiatives to save them. And if you need any help regarding your career or your pathway and stuff like that, feel free to talk with us. No problem. If you have any questions, you can ask us privately on our social media. We'll answer it. No problem. Okay. Thank you for today's session. Thank you for having me, MC.
Okay. Okey, terima kasih diucapkan kepada saudara Darmish Rasan dari Digital Ninja Alumni atas perkongsian berkenaan build your own game. Kita buat sendiri game tu, main memang seronok tapi nak bina game tu agak susah. Okey, tapi kepada yang berminat, okey, kita akan tengok kita boleh tengok balik siaran kita pada petang ini di YouTube MYDIGITALMAKER Negeri Perak untuk kita tengok balik step by step tata cara dia dari starting dengan background tadi kan. Jadi perlukan fokus untuk kita bina game ni. Main memang seronok kan. Okey, jadi terima kasih sekali lagi, menarik. Okey, menarik untuk kita bina game kita sendiri menggunakan platform Construct 3 ni. Jadi terima kasih banyak-banyak. Satu pengalaman yang baru, saya pun baru okey macam ni rupanya kan. Okey, jadi kepada yang berminat masih lagi boleh terus tonton siaran ulangan di YouTube MYDIGITALMAKER Negeri Perak. Sekali lagi terima kasih kepada saudara Darmish Rasan atas perkongsian yang menarik itu tadi. Okey. Dan jadi dengan baiklah, itu tadi slot terakhir kita untuk hari ketiga dalam program MYDIGITALMAKER Virtual Fair tahun 2021. Jadi dengan berakhirnya perkongsian daripada Digital Ninja Alumni itu tadi, maka program kita pada hari ketiga ini telah sampai ke penghujungnya. Okey, alhamdulillah banyak manfaat yang kita dapat sepanjang hari ini dan juga 2 hari sebelum ni, hari pertama dan hari kedua. Jadi untuk hari ini pagi tadi kita ada majlis pelancaran. Okey, kemudian kita teruskan dengan slot daripada Digital Perak dengan perkongsian berkenaan dengan kursus Canva. Memang menarik Canva tu banyak benda yang kita boleh buat. Buat video, nak buat PowerPoint, kita nak buat poster, kita nak buat sijil sendiri menggunakan aplikasi Canva, memang menarik. Banyak template yang dah ada dalam tu dan kita cuma tukar sahaja, dan kita boleh masuk macam-macam elemen yang ada dalam Canva tu. Memang sangat-sangat menarik. Cikgu pun, saya sendiri pun belajar juga untuk buat poster dan sebagainya, perkongsian dengan pelajar-pelajar. Jadi selepas perkongsian daripada kursus inovasi rakyat daripada Digital Perak Canva itu tadi, kita terus dengan sembang teh tarik oleh Cik Hazman dan Cik Zul Iqmal, dan moderatornya Anis dari Digital Ninja, berkenaan dengan kerjaya digital e-sport pendidikan dan kerjaya itu tadi. Kemudian kita terus dengan video e-stream with 2021 winner showcase dari Universiti Teknologi Petronas, dan slot terakhir tadi macam mana kita nak bina game kita sendiri. Okey, jadi kepada yang ingin menonton, sekali lagi siaran ulangan kita boleh tengok di YouTube YouTube di MGKK Kintas Selatan. Okey, kita ambil gambar dulu lupa pula. Okey. Okey, kita pergi. Okey. Alright, kita ambil gambar dulu ya. Okey, ready. Okey.
Sekejap ya, rasanya ramai lagi tak buka gambar lagi ni.
Jom kita on camera. Kita on camera. Okey. Kak Tim lepas ni boleh belajar buat game sendiri. Main memang seronok kan? Alright. Okay. Kita ada siapa ni? Kak Tim ada Kaisyang, Aisyah Rizal, Hidayah. Okey, kita boleh on camera untuk kita ambil gambar, simpan buat kenangan.
Ada lagi lah peserta baru nak masuk ni, macam mana ni?
Okey.
Boleh kita tunggu dia,
Kita tunggu dulu untuk kita ambil gambar ya. Tuan Haji Zahri pun ada daripada Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Perak. Sektor Pembangunan Murid. Okey. Okey, boleh on camera. Iman Khadijah, Shima. Siapa lagi ni? Aisyah Rizal, kita boleh on camera. Jangan lupa sementara kita tunggu yang lain on camera, jangan lupa like Facebook MYDIGITALMAKER Movement dan juga subscribe YouTube MGKK Negeri Perak. Okay, ready ke? Dah? Alright. Alright, okay. Terima kasih Izzat. Okay, itu dia tadi sesi fotografi bersama dengan Encik Daruni Syarasen. Okay, kemudian kepada semua penonton di YouTube, di Facebook dan di Zoom, jangan lupa esok kita akan terus bersiaran dalam program My Digital Maker Virtual Fair ini untuk hari yang keempat, di mana saya akan cerita sikit maklumat berkenaan dengan perjalanan program esok hari keempat program My Digital Maker Virtual Fair, di mana kita ada bengkel khusus inovasi rakyat 4.0, Canva juga. Jadi siapa yang berminat ni boleh sama-sama dengan kita untuk kita tengok macam mana nak buat menggunakan aplikasi Canva. Macam saya cakap tadi, banyak benda yang kita boleh buat. Macam kita nak buat video, kita nak buat poster, PowerPoint pun. Saya pun sekarang dah guna PowerPoint menggunakan Canva. Okay, memang seronok sebab dia punya elemen tu banyak yang menarik dan comel. Okay. Jadi selepas tu itu daripada Digital Perak. Kemudian yang ni menarik. Okey, bila kita dengar je Didi and Friends. Jadi esok jangan lepaskan peluang. Kita ada perkongsian sembang kedai kopi, kerjaya digital, kerjaya animasi daripada Digital Durian yang create Didi and Friends dan juga Oma dan Hana. Okey, seterusnya kita ada perkongsian Hero robotik dari Politeknik Ungku Omar. Kemudian kita ada slot Learn on TikTok workshop untuk semua pelajar dan guru-guru. Seterusnya, slot yang terakhir esok, kita ada Introduction to Internet of Things, IoT, dari Cikgu Juara Digital dari Malay College Kuala Kangsar, MCKK. Jadi esok jangan lepaskan peluang, sharekan link kepada semua rakan-rakan untuk sama-sama kita dapat manfaat sepanjang program MYDIGITALMAKER Virtual Fair ini berlangsung. Okey, jadi itu tadi serba sedikit berkenaan dengan perjalanan program esok. Okey, itu sahaja daripada saya. Sekian saja dari saya, Cikgu Farah, selaku pengacara majlis pada hari ini, pada petang ini, di hari yang ketiga. Saya mewakili jawatan kuasa program memohon maaf sekiranya ada sebarang kekurangan sepanjang program hari ketiga ini berlangsung. Jadi sekian saja dari saya. Kita jumpa esok. Terima kasih. Bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.